It's just unbelievable. I've been waiting my whole life for this, and all the losses are worth it now, and this is just the beginning.
Friends and family who have been believing me all the time when there have been times that I didn't believe myself.
I sort of proved to myself that I still got it.
You had to go 4-0 this year in the league. Pluses is.
It's just unbelievable. I've been waiting my whole life for this, and all the losses are worth it now, and this is just the beginning.
Friends and family who have been believing me all the time when there have been times that I didn't believe myself.
I sort of proved to myself that I still got it.
You had to go 4-0 this year in the league. Pluses is absolutely crazy. And I think it's just a good building block. Hopefully earning Player of the Year. That's been one of my long-time goals.
When I came in the US for the first time in 2022, I only had one goal in my mind. It was to be the first Finnish disc golf player to win the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and I did it today.
Where's advantage? Owen Scoggins.
Colin Hanley. Missy Gannon.
The Disc Golf Pro Tour playoffs continue as our competitors arrive at the #1 rated course in America. The beloved Maple Hill will set the stage for our final playoff event of the season. Today, we begin the MVP Open by OTB. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome in. Joined alongside Nate Sexton and Nate Doss. I'm Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, and we have arrived at what is one of the most beloved courses on the planet. I know there's maybe another course overseas that's rated a little bit higher, but in the U.S. and among the players and fans, this is atop of everyone else. Sexton, how much do you love Maple Hill?
A lot, I would say. I think it's the most storied venue we have in the sport at the moment. With some of the other old venues dropping off the tour, this is probably the place with the most continuity that's had elite-level tournaments for the longest time, so much history, so many champions been there.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, absolutely timeless. And you always got to remember, this has been somebody's backyard for over 100 years. So pretty cool that they've committed to disc golf as much as they have. And it's a huge honor to be back here at the MVP Open.
Well, we're here for the last playoff event of the season. Everyone trying to gain those final points. They all add on to what they've acquired throughout the year. And Gannon Buhr, well, he's been point collecting from day #1.
I mean, he's at the intersection of Sugar Lane and Southwick Road. Says Steve's got some signs out there. But, yeah, I mean, last week was insanely impressive, and really it's been impressive all season long.
I think he's done himself such a favor this year that at this point all he needs to do is finish this tournament uninjured, get the 1.5 points on offer to sew up the #1 seed in the finals.
Hoisting trophy after trophy and, of course, cashing big paychecks along the way, taking down all of our Elite Plus events.
Yeah.
Major championship, and then just a few days ago, hoisting the trophy in Vermont.
And the big conversation is this going to be the greatest season of all time if he goes on and wins a couple more events as we head in to the USDGC and, of course, the Tour Championship. We're going to compare here 2019 from Paul McBeth to this year of Gannon Buhr.
Yeah, so impressive that they both picked up 6 wins on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Average finish by McBeth was just 1.5 versus Gannon's 4.3. The worst finish by McBeth was in 4th, where Gannon finished 13th. But you look at how much cash has been earned and the efforts that they've put out. Gannon Buhr has a chance to collect the most ever Disc Golf Pro Tour wins in a single season. He's going for his 7th here this weekend.
I think the only caveat we have to put on that has to do with how many opportunities each of those players had in those given seasons. The DGPT much more robust now, more opportunities, more starts, more cash. So that's why I think Gannon Buhr is dominating in a lot of those statistics, maybe a little more than he would be if it was an apples-to-apples comparison. Obviously, both fantastic seasons.
And our season all ends here with the playoffs, where the top 32 men in the DGPT World Standings qualify for the Tour Championship in October. All Pro Tour and major winners automatically qualify for the Tour Championship, and DGPT and major winners who are not qualified via points are added to the field. Right now, that's just one exception in Jesse Nieminen, who qualified by winning the Copenhagen Open. I heard other players talk about how they know that's their only path right now to possibly get in is by winning this weekend because they're so far out the standings. And we're going to keep an eye on someone like Corey Ellis, who is currently in the Tour Championship because of his play so far today. He has an entire weekend to try and solidify that spot. When he came into this weekend, he was sitting outside of the top 32. And we can see he actually entered in 40th. So a good, solid performance this weekend by a number of players can make for some shifting and moving around. He's currently sitting in 30th.
Yeah, on a great start, and I think that 40th has more to do with missing a little time due to injury than it has to do with Corey Ellis's performance on the course, but he's clutching up when he needs to. Still got a chance to play in the finals.
And he has a birdie look on the 10th that we're catching up with. We see the winds out there. It's not been a pleasant day out at Maple Hill, but Corey has kept a clean scorecard. More games are in store for Gannon and Niklas. We'll see them in a moment.
What's up, everyone? James Conrad here with Team MVP. I'm just here to chat a little bit about the Detour. It's one of the discs that came out this year in the James Conrad line of discs. I'd say my favorite shots with it are hitting it on a fair amount of hyzer, letting her slowly stand up and finish to the right. We wanted something that was able to be thrown with a ton of power, but something that would also be workable for someone without quite as much power. I think that they nailed it with the Detour.
At LL Bean, we've been innovating for over a century, making great products better so you can feel better. Day after day, year after year. Outside together since 1912. LL Bean, be an outsider.
OTB is very specific on how they list the disc because they want you to like the disc.
Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
Not just marketing.
It's only the best.
Your morning shave is a time for self-reflection. Look in that mirror and ask yourself, can I make a real difference in this world? Of course you can. Just not today. There's football on. Barbasol. It's a can of can-do.
Azuka Cart lets you sit down on the course, anywhere you want. But maybe not here. Or here. Honestly, you shouldn't sit here either. You want to sit there? How are you gonna even? Nope. Nope. Nuh-uh. Look, we appreciate your ambition, but no. Now you got it. Take it easy on the course with Zuka.
Hello, we're Kenna. We're a Dutch growing company. We love plants and we want to tell you some cool things about them. Just like humans, plants can communicate. They can sense when another plant is close. Plants look out for each other too. They warn neighbors about nearby threats by secreting substances. And studies have shown that plants love a good tune. We love and understand plants. Let our passion excite you too.
The MVP Open at Maple Hill is presented by MVP Disc Sports, the leading edge in disc golf, and OTB Discs, only the best. Our friends at LL Bean invite you to be an outsider, go out and enjoy nature, and with that, we're going to take a little walk and stand down and let you enjoy the experience as we walk to the tee of one.
Good luck. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys around.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey, I forgot.
That's like 7 in a row.
I hate his shorts. Hey. Have fun, guys.
We are live on the tee with our 2-10 group. Up first from Scottsdale, Arizona, Anthony Barella. From Lawrenceville, Georgia, Ezra Robinson. Michigan, Kyle Kalai. Group will be at 2:30. Gannon Burr.
And Ryan Earhart joins us. He's out there with an idiot walk and talk along with Paul Macbeth.
Paul, we're walking down the fairway of one. We just played about a 500-foot par 3. It's kind of weird to not be playing the par 4 right off the bat. How are you feeling about the change?
So I was a little skeptical at first, but I don't know if you can see that crowd back there, but knowing that there's going to be ace runs on the first 2 days from some of these players, I think it's a can't miss opportunity for a lot of people. So I think it's actually a really good change.
You said you were kind of working through a couple things at GMC. Do you feel pretty solid right now with the game?
Yeah, putt feels great. Drive feels really good. Just trying to get my timing down. I feel like I'm just way more in tune with my body right now coming into this part of the season, which I started the season this way, but you know, there are some things preventing that. So looking forward to these last couple events.
Well, Paul, as we walk through the Christmas trees, we'll let you get up to your lie. Good luck today.
Thank you.
See you, buddy. Thank you.
Corey Ellis now in the tee of 11.
Tough to tell. That was pretty far right. He was hoping for it to come back left. It's always tough. You can get stymied behind some big Christmas trees down on that fairway. So we see our top 10 leaderboard.
Andrew Fish in the clubhouse with a 5 under, but Emerson Keith is off to a very hot start. He's 6 under through 8. Anthony Barella way off on the left side, pin high.
I don't see where anyone else finished, so let me know.
I think I might be like, yeah, circle. I might be circle. Say OB? Little D? Oh.
I'm sure some were wondering how we're seeing our feature cards this week, and it goes the same as it was last week. It's strictly by where you are in the tour points is how the 2 final feature cards went off, both on the FPO side as well as the MPO side, and that was last weekend and this weekend. So top 8 players are making up our 2 feature cards. Ezra strikes early.
Great putt from back there. There is not much chance of putting it into the water, but it certainly has to cross your mind when you're putting from that angle.
Did you guys notice how early the guy was waving the green flag? And Macbeth's disc is only like 10 feet in bounds. What a putt.
A confident spot.
Yeah, you know what? He's been out there all day. He knows. Just for all you spotters out there, let it land. Those flags mean a lot to these guys.
Just barely in for Klein, but he'll pick up the birdie on the first. Ezra Robinson off to a great start in round 1.
What's up, guys? It's Ezra Robinson, and I'm here to show you how to use bird sauce from Dirty Birdie. Put a little dab on your fingers or wherever you want grip. Once you fan it, get some air on there, turns to chalk, and this will stay on for 6 to 9 holes. Clips to my bag, super easy, and I don't have to worry about it every single hole.
The Pixel makes putting so effortless, which is exactly what I wanted from this disc, that I can just put it on the line and then just let the disc slow float to the chains. For me, always, the more a putter beats in, the more magic it has inside, so hit those chains.
This sport is about trust. It's about confidence in your disc. All the untold hours of development and commitment are here for you. The MVP Pro Shop. Start your journey today.
I love
Solid tee shot from Ezra Robinson coming on the second. This one's leaking left. Macbeth doesn't love the effort.
You know, obviously we're seeing wet conditions, umbrellas all over the place. But, you know, notice, I mean, Kyle Klein's playing in a t-shirt. It's not that cold, but I do find that these wet tee pads, it's really hard for the players to fully commit to a shot that you would, you know, otherwise be throwing on a dry tee pad. And this course is such a fine line between a really good shot and one that ends up in the woods 50-60 short.
Or potentially kicks
or
out of bounds.
OB. Yeah.
It could be just inches between those two results.
Corey Ellis with his third. I think we'll see a par coming from him. Cora Dolan on the tee of 8.
Oh, come on, baby. Come on. Swing in. Swing in.
Park job for Cole Radala, he came into this weekend sitting in 28th in the tour standings. He's still inside the cut line to make it into the championship, but much closer to the bubble, sitting in 32nd.
It's so interesting to look at it from a hole-to-hole perspective versus, you know, 4 rounds. But yeah, I mean, as it stands right now, if everything were to stop, Cole would be in, but just barely.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on him. He's just rehabbing that hip injury, had to drop out of the Worlds. I saw him coming off the course on a golf cart during the mixed doubles event and was hoping a speedy recovery would be in the cards for him, but he has been off the road for a couple of weeks back in Oregon trying to recover, see how his body handles 4 rounds out here.
Yeah. Fortunately, youth, things heal a little quicker.
Yes.
Got himself a trading card. I asked for makeup this morning, but Sexton wouldn't apply it. Otherwise, I'd be matching that guy. Now we've got Barella with a birdie luck. AB on the board.
Saw Klein barely get over the rim on hole 1, and this time failing to get over it. So I'm sure he's a little bit frustrated. Going to need to get that putt a little more loft going forward.
Is it only if you're in the pink you get the relief?
Evelina Salonen was in almost the exact same spot this morning, and she was told she had could take up to 1 full meter relief, even though that is not considered out of bounds.
Yeah, so the stanchion there that guy's sitting in, they're marked, and you get relief away from them.
And I think Paul elected not to take the relief and immediately regretted it.
Yeah, that's what he said.
So Paul McBeth picks up the bogeys, back to even. Emerson Keith is currently out in front. We'll see our final feature card tee off on the other side.
The United States Disc Golf Championship, a tournament with history unmatched in the disc golf world.
Oh,
You bet!
Colin Hanley is on fire.
Talk about giving the crowd a show. What a performance from Kyle Klein.
Gannonberg, this kid is unbelievable.
If you want to know what a disc is going to feel like before you get it, you have to check out OTB Disc. The first thing I'm looking for when I grab a new disc is the feel of the disc. It's got to be confidence instilled. Virtually in your hand tells you what the disc is going to feel like, how heavy it's going to be. It's everything you want to know before it shows up to your house.
It's really, really helpful in not only finding a disc that looks beautiful, but is also exactly what you're looking for it to feel like. Of course, when you're dealing with OTB, you're going to get only the best.
In a game of precision, when a miscalculation can mean the difference between winning or losing, you require instant, pinpoint accuracy. When you need confidence in your shot, turn to MVP's Parsec Laser Rangefinder.
Allen's the best of the best. It's the quality, the craftsmanship, the vision for what a bag could be.
I don't think anyone's disputing that it's the best made bag.
The season concludes with this year's final PDGA Pro Major at the United States Disc Golf Championship, followed by the grand finale, the 2024 DGPT Championship presented by Barbasol. Don't miss a second of the action. Stream it all live on DGN. Subscribe now and use code MVP25 for 25% off your first month.
Emerson got through the brand new hole 9 with a par. Yeah, that's a nice effort from down there outside circle 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention, it is my pleasure to introduce Andrew Johnson from MVP and Siobhan Dunn from St. Jude's Children's Hospital. To St. Jude's Children's Hospital from MVP and the MVP Open and OTB for $50,000.
Wow. Oh my God, I have chills. This is unbelievable. Hello, everyone. It is great to be here with you today. My name is Siobhan Dunn, and I'm a senior advisor for St. Jude in our New England office. Through your generosity and the MVP Open, you are making sure that families never receive a bill from St. Jude for treatment, travel, housing, or food so they can focus on helping their child live. St. Jude was founded in 1962 by entertainer Danny Thomas, who believed that no child should die in the dawn of life. Now, more than 60 years later, St. Jude has a global impact. We treat more than 8,200 patients a year from every state and around the world. We are in the midst of a global effort with the World Health Organization to achieve at least a 60% survival rate for children with 6 of the most common kinds of cancer by 2030. Since we opened 6 decades ago, St. Jude scientists and clinicians have created new treatments and improved long-term survival rates of childhood cancer overall from 20% to more than 80% today. There is more work we must do to get to 100% survival rates, which is why events like today are so important and why we're so grateful for people like you. Thank you again so much for having me here today with you and for your very special support. Have a wonderful time today and this weekend, and I look forward to our continued partnership.
St. Jude. And don't forget, you can contribute as well.
Right now?
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you so much.
Hey.
Yeah, a little early release, but Terry, it stayed in the fairway. So I think all in all, a win for everybody involved.
And a green flag,
Exactly.
certainly.
And wow, 50,000. I mean,
yeah,
what a gesture.
That's incredible.
Congratulations to everybody involved there.
A big thank you, of course, to our presenting sponsors and OTB along with MVP that have continued to push the game forward in so many ways. And it looks like our final feature card ready to go.
Way too far.
Ezra Robinson has a birdie look on 3.
We saw that drive on the picture-in-picture. It was just fantastic. Hole 3 is such a technical tee shot. Officially getting into that dream start territory. 3 for 3 on a rainy day. Really well played.
Luke Humphreys trying to make the most of this weekend. He came in on the bubble in terms of making it into the Tour Championship. This is for par. So off to a pretty good start. Ran into some troubles on hole number 6. And we're going to see the result is a bogey on the 10th. But Luke Humphreys knows what's on the line. Entered the event in 32nd, as in the last person to qualify. And currently sitting in 30th.
You know, it's kind of interesting on day 1 how all of those guys are all playing together first round. All these guys that are battling for these last couple of spots. So kind of interesting. It's kind of judge, and you can actually set the tone with those other players. Like, you know, wow, that guy's playing so good. How am I going to catch him?
Sure.
Yeah, we saw the same on the FPO side. Ellie Ezra playing right alongside Stacy Kiefer, and they all know what's on the line when they're starting out their weekend. Barella, the overhand, goes deep, but he's going to have an uphill putt for birdie.
I like the play. Little baby thumber, easy to hit the gap with.
Gavin Babcock has a birdie look on 8.
Looks like the rain's starting to intensify a little bit.
Yeah! Great burn! That's a nice play you got there.
Going way deep. Heimberg, my question to you guys was going to be, they're so used to throwing this so hard to go after hole number 1. Is it difficult to kind of just pull back a little bit? Because they're doing everything they can to clear the water normally.
I would say it's foolish to pull back. It's not difficult. They're going to throw more overstable. They're going to throw wider. They're going to throw higher. But to try to come in and park this hole is insane. You need to be left or you need to be long, and you need to trust your putt, in my opinion. Anybody who puts it in the bullseye, I would argue, had a bit of a misfire, because look how close that is to the water. You cannot afford to go to the drop zone and take early bogey.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. And yeah, it's one of those things. I don't think the fact that they've always played to the longer pin is affecting them at all. I think it's the lake. They want to get over the lake no matter what. If you walk away with a par here, it's not a big loss.
Play from behind.
That's for sure. And you know, honestly, one of the things about Maple Hill is that a par on every hole is actually okay.
Yeah,
it's not to say that you can shoot par and win the tournament, but on every single hole, like there's no hole where it's like, yeah, you should birdie this one, no question about it.
Yes.
And I love that about this course, and the guys, of course, still go on to make a ton of birdies, but there's just none that you close your eyes and get one.
I also feel like there's hardly any 3-hole stretch that you wouldn't go like, wow, 3 in a row.
Right.
Like
Yeah, great
anytime you
point.
turn it on, you know, oh, there you go. That's a scary putt going down the hill.
Gonna take another look at this. Kyle Klein from Circle 2, powered by Naqua. Lifestyle powered by our friends over at Naqua as we're watching Macbeth Come back up. Straddled out, but he makes the putt. McBeth is going to get back to 1 under. Barella getting confirmation as to the relief he can take. AB cashes it in.
Four in a row.
The dream is getting better, although any hole can turn into a nightmare very quickly, especially on 5 and 6.
You got a little insurance, thankfully.
Yeah, for sure.
If you position yourself like that, you can absorb a couple punches from Maple Hill.
Nice shot by Emerson there. Birdie.
Parker Welk is at the drop zone on 18, trying to close it out. He does.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. That's amazing.
What a save. That is such a long putt. Dangerous, too. To go over OB through the gap.
See if Ezra can keep it rolling after a great start here. This is coming in just deep.
It's going to be a decision type of putt. I think, knowing him, got a good sense of what he's going to do. But
yeah, right. All signs point to he's going for it.
But it's a scary one. Tall basket right next to the water's edge. That's actually a very fortunate break, I think, because the right side of that tree is guaranteed out of bounds. If he turned that too much right out of the hand, he would have known that was not a good shot. If that is, I would estimate 3 inches farther to the right, instant out of bounds penalty with the kick. This is in the same danger.
He's going to need a kick back the other way. I think he got it, the way the crowd is reacting. And the way he's reacting as well. Look at this. Slow-mo. That late kick right there. Bang.
All right, well, if I said Gannon's was a good break, this one is a great break. Back in bounds and with a birdie chance.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the way Rick putted final round last week, got to think that's going in.
Calvin using the fairway. It's going to be about pin high with the birdie luck. Beth doesn't like the release. It's going to come in short, but it checks up and stays in bounds.
I mean,
it's almost ace.
It's nearly, yeah, he's at the bottom of the basket. How fortunate.
It was a little inside for sure, but a good tree kick, and it certainly hit some part of the basket or the base anyway.
This looks fantastic.
This is such an Antela shot shape. Dragging it over like that. He's so good at that.
Robinson trying to go 5 for 5.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Let's look at it from behind. Look at how much danger there is. Incredible commitment.
Now Barella, who's closer than what we just saw from Ezra. He's about 40 feet, but he gets that one to drop. James Proctor. A tie for the lead.
6 under through 8. Some serious golf being played on this front 9.
Both Proctor and Emerson missed hole 3. Proctor missed 6 and Emerson missed 7, but otherwise, like you said, 6 for 8. And Heimberg converts on the birdie look.
You know, it could be a combination of 2 things. One, improving conditions. Yeah, it's raining, but there's really no wind. I know it was a little windier earlier today, and obviously, number 2 is the fact that this is seeded. We're now seeing the best players in the world here in 2024 in the last 4 or 5 groups.
Keith has a birdie look on 11.
The very dangerous 6th. I would say that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think nice bit of pinball in there, kicking forward into a relatively open position.
Corey Ellis on 14. This looks wide. I'm not sure it's got enough to get back. Oh, it does, though.
Just barely on that new green. Look at the work they did there. Just beautiful.
Just getting it to land softly as Corey Ellis is lining up a birdie.
So this is the challenge for Corey Ellis. It's not just about what he does, it's about what other players do as well. Corey Ellis is still inside the top 10. Certainly that birdie will go a long way. But, you know, when you're behind, you got to play well and hope that other people don't.
Early release from Heimberg. Looked like it made decent progress through the woods on that left side, but there can be trouble over there, especially when you kick left.
Yeah, if you can get about just over half, maybe 2/3 of the way through, it really starts to open up there. But yeah, anything that goes left and then kicks left is just horrible.
Barely overdone by Niklas there. The turn was nice, but just a little early.
Yeah, I've always liked the hyzer flip here on 3. I think discs that you are forcing over, it's hard to get them to twist back up the hill. Hyzer flip kind of drifting forward has a better chance of finishing. That being said, Gannon, one of the best kind of overplayed hyzer turnover players, and good second kick there.
Yeah, that saved him from a trickier shot.
There's that big tree that's out there that's on the left side of the fairway. A hyzer flip aimed at that, just drifting right, finishing forward is the ideal shot here.
It's kind of what you're talking about. Rick goes with the force over, doesn't really have the swing back up the hill. It's still by far the best shot in the group, but maybe delaying that turn, making the flip a little bit more delicate. Obviously, easier said than done.
Yeah, and job one, just getting through.
Yes, and on a rainy day, maybe even a little tougher to be so touchy.
Well, with that, we're going to take a look at Nate's Keys, brought to us by BlackInkDisc.com, the premium disc golf store.
here we go. The MVP Open here at Maple Hill. Well, I'll tell you right now, the first thing that's key here is hitting the fairway. So critical to give yourself opportunities, because a lot of these holes are longer par threes in the woods. So critical. You know, when you're back here in the fairway, these become very difficult pars, and scramble rate is going to be extremely critical as well. Making par from these positions, keeping your round going, not giving strokes back to the course.
Thank you to our friends over at blackinkdisc.com, the premium disc golf store. I'm going to throw it out to Brian for a moment. Brian, last weekend, through the last 3 rounds, we saw Gannon Buhr barely make a mistake. Today, he doesn't look nearly as dialed in. Anything with elements or anything else you'd pick up from him?
I would say a couple things. As we watch Gannon throw a nice approach here, well done. He kind of told me earlier in the week at the presser before the cameras came on that he doesn't feel fully comfortable out here. He says it's one of those courses where you feel like you could have a great week and the scores just absolutely don't show it. He also said that his standards for today and today's rain are really low. He said anything under par is going to be fine for him, and that's really underselling what he's capable of. But I think, like we've seen all season, he likes to do some mental gymnastics to kind of keep his expectations low, and maybe our expectations of him low. It's kind of hard to do that these days.
Yeah, I just think that last weekend we could count on one hand how often somebody's like, oh, I could get a stroke on Gannon. And now here we are seeing him start out 3 for 3 in terms of pars. And I know it's a very difficult course, and I'm not trying to make anything bigger of it, but last weekend he was so flawless, and we see that he's not keeping that pace at the moment.
I guess I would just say it's round 1 of a 4-rounder. Gannon time doesn't start till tomorrow.
Okay. Emerson Keith, tee of 12.
Oh, that immediately hit a tree and could be horrible. That was pulled.
Saw the drive by Corey Ellis on 14, and he makes good.
That is such a special shot. Coming down over the water, over 400 feet. Absolutely parked. This could go somewhere, Rick.
Looks like it was about to check up, but always a challenge here on this green, specifically this green. That looks like a close shave by our friends over at Barbasol.
This a par look for Heimberg after the forehand scramble. Great save. When I think about scrambling, I just find myself at Maple Hill. There's so many times where you're kind of going to bounce to a spot. You got to throw hard in the woods. So invariably, you're going to miss a line here and again, you know, and you're going to take some big kicks. You're going to have to get creative, lean on your shot making ability. Heimberg did a great job there to get out of here with par.
Same could be said of Antelo, who's going to get a par here on the 3rd.
Scrambling on 3 is kind of fun. Scrambling on 6 is a nightmare.
Horrible.
Because that OB wall is right there. You feel like there's nothing you can even do to succeed.
Another par for Gannon.
And
Ezra laid up to this spot, able to get away with a par.
Look at the basket now.
Yeah.
They moved it slightly closer to both the tee and the wall and elevated it. Good luck with that one.
Look at this result for Emerson. This is one of the worst drives I've ever seen on this hole, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he's only 80 ish feet. I mean, he got fortunate to even land in a spot that he could run up.
Yes.
You know, he could have been 15 feet forward and just chipping. So kind of a little bit of good fortune there.
Brand new hole 7 here. It's going to be scramble time for Ezra. It does break a little bit right, 422 feet, kind of over the rise. Running adjacent to where the traditional 7th ran. It would have been up to the player's left going on that gravel road. Wow, that looked so close to the trees on the right initially out of Heimberg's hand. Great skip, though. That's one of the things you can count on from this thumber play. It's going to be hitting upside down. Almost every time you're going to take that big flight. So I think really the play is to get it to the ground nice and early and expect that big 40 to 50 foot bounce. If you hit by the basket, you're probably swimming. Very creative there from Antila. I don't think we're going to see a lot of players go to that extreme force over with a very overstable disc. Maybe this guy would. Oh no, he's got a putt. I forgot. He can putt 246.
He is going off on that right side, though. And there's that little buildup of logs there in between those trees. That's been there for years. But you can't get blocked up behind it.
Four players, 4 different tee shots. I think Rick will be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, it's interesting. As they've started, you know, continued to work on this course, they've built up that fairway where you can't land too short. Got to get over a couple of walls before getting down to the ground.
Humphreys with his second shot on 12.
Not bad. When you're in a position on 12 to where you can't see up and over the rise, just getting it down there and keeping it short of the pin is a good shot. Okay. Wow. Did you see it take that little branch kick? It kind of just flipped it forward and perfect speed.
Emerson did well out of the Christmas trees with an outside chance here, I think, to save par. And he's going to need a huge putt, unfortunately. That buried into the ground a little bit early.
Put a little nose down on this one, coming up and over this little wall here. Okay. Yeah, nice putt.
That's how Gannon will pick up his first birdie of the round.
So nothing's changed because that is an insane putt. And for half the field, their putting style wouldn't even allow them to go for it like that.
Yeah, you'd have to float something.
Yeah.
But when you're 6'7" and you putt nose down already with pace, I don't know that those logs are really that in his way.
Yeah.
With the normal kind of shape he puts on his putt. Beautifully done. I'm really enjoying the weather we've got today. It's enough rain to kind of play a factor, but not so much that I feel sorry for the guys. Just kind of a nice fall day out here, a little bit of adversity. I think it's great for this tournament to see how people respond to a little bit of potentially grip issues, a little bit of tee pad slickness, all part of the game of disc golf, as we all know.
I just think anytime you're playing in these conditions, it comes down to finding a quality routine that might be out of your norm when it's perfect weather out, and then just trying to stay in some sort of flow. Because you can think about how bad it is or all that good stuff, but you want to just find a routine and execute.
4 different tee shot strategies, but everybody walks out of there with birdie on that final card.
And I think also these, oh, that's a horrible roll away for Luke. And here's Emerson. As you said, it's a big putt, but we've seen some made from here. The last piece of the weather puzzle I was going to say is you can, of course, standing on the first tee, go, man, this is so horrible. This sucks. But I promise you somebody is going to shoot good today. It might as well be you.
Sure.
So it's all about mentally also believing that it's not going to affect you.
This is wide coming from Heimberg. Oh, but he ends up finding the green on the backside.
Yeah, you're in such a mentally stronger position if you're standing on that tee going, yeah, I mean, do I wish it was sunny? Sure, but am I going to be here on hole 18? Also sure. So you might as well just buckle up. Bring the best gear you've got. Try to ignore the weather. Try to just execute and play the best you can in the spots that you give yourself. That's going to give you a big advantage over somebody who's just sort of already starting to mentally beat themselves.
Saw the slip by Antala, but it still checks up right next to the pin. You'll have a tap-in birdie.
Boy, that's a little bit of that Macbeth love that we saw earlier. Man, being parked, of course, on any hole is awesome. But 5,
Sure.
especially, like, just makes this little walk so much more comfortable as you walk around to the green.
It just gets out to the circle's edge so quickly. Like as soon as he throws that and he knows it's high enough to get in bounds, you're either saying get in or you're saying sit, sit. It's like such a fine line after you clear the wall. This has a lot of sharp angle, but even still is going to skip out towards circle edge. Great shot. That's definitely the side you want to miss on.
Was not far from going in.
Probably made it for a second.
Ezra trying to keep pace with a few others that went 6 for 8. He'll need this to do so. That's going to be on the green, so good chance to do just that. Again, Proctor and Emerson Keith both started out 6 for 8. That's the pace Ezra would be on. Proctor along with Corey Ellis, both at 6 under. We know that our scores here today also will match our Innova Hot Rounds during the opening round of the event. Ezra Robinson and Gavin Babcock, along with Emerson Keith, Randon Lotta, Parker Welk, and Andrew Fish, all 5 under.
Yeah, and of all the guys that are on the bubble, I mean, Emerson Keith is currently sitting in 31st. He is playing the best of everybody that's directly within 3 places, either high or low, of the cut line.
Really nice putt. Again, not surprised to see Gannonburg make that, but that is not easy. Going at the water, in the rain, feeling the pressure, feeling like 5 is one of the more birdieable holes on the course. He's done well.
Yeah, it just goes to show you the level of confidence. I mean, for Gannon, Ricky, putting it that direction with the kind of speed they have, if they miss the basket, it's water. And so they're committed. They understand the release point. And while they, of course, know the water's back there, they're just ignoring it.
Looks like a second consecutive star frame for this group.
It's good to see Calvin making some putts. That scramble putt on 3, that one right there. We know how important putting is for Calvin Heimberg to win tournaments.
8 birdies between the 2 holes. We'll catch up with them on the tee of 6.
I think the Blackwell Pro is the best practice basket I ever had at home. What I love most about this basket is that it catches really well. It's kind of exactly what you want. If you're looking for a great solution for a practice basket, Blackwell Pro.
The Power Disc Golf Academy has a huge shout out for Kristen Ayotes. Kristen has significantly increased her distance by using Holland Hanley's lessons on eliminating rounding. She also used Holland's lessons on wind management to lower her average scores. And to top it off, she's putting better than ever using Yuli's putting tutorials. Great job, Kristen. Keep it up. Now, if you want to improve your game like Kristen has, scan the QR code and enter promo code DGPT for an exclusive discount to the Power Disc Golf Academy.
You have to understand how things are up here.
Welcome back. Calvin Heimberg on the tee of 6.
Oh boy, that could be water. Where that kicked left, there's a big opening out towards the lake. We'll find out momentarily, but that didn't look like a good kick, that's for sure.
Come on, Paul.
Macbeth looking for a birdie up ahead on 8. Here's Antala.
Another huge kick left.
I think I saw it come down though, just barely.
Brian, can you give us an update on both Antala and Heimberg?
Heimberg's shot was shocking. Awesome second kick. He's in bounds, maybe on the edge of circle 2 on the left side, and then Niklas is in that pocket on the left. I believe he is safe.
All right, so the second kick that our cameras didn't catch for Calvin. Awesome. So good.
Wow.
So good.
That's an incredible shot. Perfect line. It gets so narrow at the end.
Yeah, just right where he skipped was ideal. We're going to take another look here at Calvin's. So this initial kick, no good. Where's the second one? There it was.
Wow, the last little thing that could have saved him, I feel.
Wow, that was definitely going towards the water, in my opinion.
Ooh, that's a tough spot. This is where I say scrambling on this hole is a bit of a nightmare. because you're just so obstructed. Even when you're 200 feet away, you're next to that OB wall.
After going out of bounds, Barella goes to the drop zone and is going to go out of bounds again.
Oh, no.
Double bogey likely coming for Barella. Good kick there by Wysocki.
You just can't really imagine how Wysocki could get to circle one from that spot. And I can't really imagine how anybody looked at hole 6 and thought, we should move the pin higher, righter. I don't get it.
You know,
the statistics would tell you it's already the hardest hole in the world.
The mind that came up with that, his name is Steve Dodge, and that beautiful mind gave us the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Yeah, hey,
so,
hey.
You know, I do agree with you. It's a little nuts.
Of all the holes, of all the holes, to be like, we should toughen it up.
Yeah. Oh, no. That hit a tree early. Didn't make it back in bounds.
Macbeth now 3 under through 8.
So the big over-under question right now is, will we see a double-digit round? I'm not sure. It's, we certainly see a lot of players streaking some birdies on the back nine, but with the conditions today, it's going to be interesting.
I'm going to predict that our leader will be the sole double-digit round of the day.
Yeah, that's a fair guess for sure. Terry, what do you think?
I think we will see double digits. You got to love what Proctor's doing right now and the pace that he's on. And Ezra looks good as well. Those are a couple obvious contenders. Will they stand alone at double digits? Whoever gets there, that's a good question.
So it's theoretically possible to me that Calvin didn't know he got the second kick, because he was walking right over here by Antela, and you know, he might be thinking, oh boy, I was OB. So nice surprise that he is in bounds.
But can he see the basket?
Right.
He's near the edge of circle 2. We heard that from Brian, but that does not guarantee you much.
So he hit that little dead one that's just on the far left of your screen. Oh. Oh, okay. So we're hearing that he's still out of bounds.
Oh, no.
That's what I heard from him. Brian, did you hear what Calvin Heimberg said?
I did not hear that, but I walked up to the disc and maybe my eyes deceived me, but thought he was safe. But that's really unfortunate if there was a line back there. Sorry about that. I didn't see that.
I mean, he's taking his meter. If I'm noticing maybe a line low left of your screen right now, possibility to where the line just come in right there like a little Z. And Calvin could have found that little out of bounds, but either way, throwing 3 from here.
Gutsy.
Good run.
Trying to make that. Wow.
There it is. Okay, so we're seeing it a little bit more clearly here. It's a great view of how difficult it would have been for Ricky to try to get into that gap from that far back. In fact, a lot of times when we see players that far back, we see them try to play that low left line that we saw Gannon skip through, just to avoid that rock wall.
Here's the birdie putt for Burr. This has to be one of the better drives of the day.
We've seen 8 birdies up to this point on 6.
A little bit of a abbreviated stroke to my eye. Didn't quite finish the putt.
Yeah, if I could explain it in one word, it's kind of like you try to pop it instead of just zing it like he usually does.
Yep. Oh, no.
I feel like that was an abbreviated routine by Antala. Maybe just taking it for granted as he stepped up. Maybe something to do with his grip as well.
Couple of shockers on this putting green. I had all but counted those.
Normally he goes through at least 2 or 3
pumps. Yep.
At least. And this time he kind of just steps up and just very first throw.
Wow.
That was not his normal routine.
Great call there, Terry, and I would agree. He usually has a very consistent routine. Immediately going to the chalk bag.
James Proctor on the tee of hole number 10, possibly trying to confuse all of us too.
Yeah, I'm like, is he an honorary member?
Or possibly
or
rooming with someone or staying with someone that is has lent maybe lent him the coat, but certainly threw us off for a moment. Simon Lizotte on the tee of 10.
Alden Harris has jumped up inside the top 10. That's going to be an interesting battle between Corey Ellis and Alden Harris, who Alden is just a couple of spots ahead of Corey as we head towards the Tour Champion Sexton. Here's the new hole number 7.
Yeah, this is really interesting, I think. Getting away from that gravel road, this is a blind shot going up over the hill, 422 feet for the MPO side. You're looking to throw something straight through the middle. I think backhand or forehand are both options. Probably going to see more backhands as it doesn't really swing super hard right. You're going to look to flip it a little bit and kind of just drift it across that valley, checking up into this far side hill.
And I think the issue with the sidearm is that initial gap, right? Trying to get a sidearm through there, you'd have to have really great control of it like you do. But, yeah, I mean, okay, here we go. We're seeing Gannon step up with the sidearm. All right, yeah, he got it through there nicely.
Let's see if this has enough length. Sure it does.
All right.
So just that baby flex. Really impressed. The last 2 forehands Gannon has thrown on 6 and on 7 in the rain have been absolute 10 out of 10 control shots. That is not easy to do.
Scrambletown, there it is. There is no OB here on 7.
There's some spectator rope down there.
Yep. For those of you that are wondering why we're seeing a new hole here on 7, due to spectator pathways, the old hole 7 played along one of the main roads through the property. And, by moving it over here, they're allowing the spectators to move freely between the 2 portions of the course.
I think it's a great change. I think this preserves the spirit of hole 7, but I think it's prettier to be in the woods. You're not on a gravel road. You're not in the way of those golf carts or anything that needs to move around the course. Ricky Wysocki absolutely parked.
All right, so this is our first time seeing this hole played. And I would say definite advantage to the sidearm players who have that ultimate control to power it through that gap, get it to flip up to flat, not having to work a lot of angle. So that's interesting watching that.
This is another brand new hole. This tee pad was here last year, but we've got a brand new green, and you'll notice that par 5, the only par 5 on the property. Brand new green, very technical, difficult tee shot going uphill through the long tunnel just to try to set up the water crossing that waits for you.
Yeah, and this is a perfect flyover to show you what we'll see over the next 2 days. Is we're playing to the 9B position for the first 2 rounds, and then we'll play to 9A, which is the more traditional position, over the last 2 rounds. But 9B is where we're playing, as you said, a par 5 Sexton in this location.
So far up the hill.
Yeah, there used to be a tee pad right there that the year I won, we actually played off of that tee on hole 10. But interesting to see that, because you're going to have to get down to the bottom of the hill to turn that corner and throw up towards that new pin.
Not a great shot from Heimberg there. Didn't quite get clear to the pin. It looked to be a good gap. He's going to have to make another putt of consequence to keep his scorecard unblemished. No, I guess he does have a bogey already, thanks to that surprise OB on the 6th.
And this is kind of where this course just starts to show its teeth a little bit, right? You're just a little bit off. Takes an OB on the previous hole, and the very next hole, he's trying to make a big putt to save par. Avoid 2 back-to-back bogeys. Just so quick how it can erase all the hard work you've done.
6 and 7 been doing that for 20 years now, I think.
Exactly.
You start to kind of feel good about yourself after you pick up a couple on the first 5, and the wheels can fall off so fast, especially on hole 6.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. If you play the first 5 holes and you're a few under par, and you've gotten up to the tee pad on what is now 11, you're feeling, all right, I'm doing pretty good. Easier said than done.
Look how wide of a straddle Niklas has to go to get around this tree.
Solid putt for Antala.
That off-season yoga paying off.
Light work for Ricky Wysocki. Robinson with his 2nd on 9.
I mean, you get back here, there's almost no chance to birdie.
Chris Dickerson buries one from downtown. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Support your disc golf game with a brand new Tritanium sleeve. We import these directly from Finland at high and low compression, or check out their knee or wrist supports. The only place you can get Tritanium in the United States is right here at PowerGripUSA.com.
Discraft built for flight.
Got a good thing coming, and it's all I need. Everything I wanted is in front of me. It's a good.
Third shot for Robinson. You can't go for it from here. So he's just trying to find position. I think he's done pretty well with that. But a lot of pressure on him now to try to save par.
Oh, low percentage, in fact. I mean, we were just looking at it in the break. Only 4 birdies total over there on the brand new hole number 9. And you've got to imagine that they all came from where Ezra is now.
But you got to be there in 2.
And
clearly.
2.
Yes.
So the odds of him getting up and down for birdie are relatively low. Or, excuse me, up and down for par. Here's Burr on 8. This is your first time watching here at the MVP Open. This is one of the most fandom holes in disc golf. Dedicated group of fans that sit here all day long cheering on the players. A lot of times you hear those roars when we're up on 1 or 4 or 5, and that's coming from this spot right here.
Normally it's the kind of roar you think he does an ace, but on this green, it might just be that big putt for the 3.
Yeah.
That's getting a big cheer.
Right, or just even in bounds.
Sure.
That's tracking right to the pin behind her, and it checks up. Short look for birdie.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
The whole umbrella like grabbed the back.
Yeah. It's such a long shot from kind of playing back uphill. And he's going to have that uphill putt closer than where we saw Dickerson.
I think he threw that about as well as you could expect. I mean, tough footing, muddy, trying to put a bunch of power on the disc. You got to miss that fairway tree right in the middle. That was well thrown. Proctor will have circle 2 look.
Yeah, and Proctor's out there on 11, and the rain is getting heavier, it seems, at the moment. I'm still questioning the double-digit factor. I'm not sure on which side of that coin I am on yet.
The longer we go, the more scared I get.
Yeah. Yep.
But if you want to make a great prediction, you got to take that risk early.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it pays off, and when it doesn't pay off, I feel like people never remember. So
Yeah,
I just keep taking
never.
shots.
Yeah.
We just politely stay quiet about it.
I just keep taking shots.
Adam Hammis, you see there, tied for 12th. Of course, a champion at this event. Matty O, your defending champ, tied for 21st.
We saw Cole Redolin's name on the previous page. He's battled his way back up into the top 20. Spot is back safe at the moment in the Tour Championship.
Rain getting to Gannonburg here, I have to think, with the miss on 6 and that miss right there. Not getting to his forehand. Those drives on the last 3 holes have been fantastic, but he's going to be really annoyed to come out only 1 under after throwing into circle 1 every shot.
Until it steps up this time, no problem.
So did you notice that he stepped up and just putted that without a pump? Now I'm wondering, is it he's getting the hand dry and then not doing the extra pumps to avoid additional water?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, clearly he's...
We didn't notice that, though, back on 6. That was the first time I really saw it as a legitimate purpose.
I think that has to be what's going on.
Certainly abbreviating his weather routine, so to speak, which makes perfect sense.
That's not rare at all. Yeah, a lot of players are going to be put into that situation.
Because Antela is the type that'll pump and then bring the disc back and maybe even shift it in his hand slightly.
Yeah.
So he can't do that.
Yeah.
He's got to get it dry and then just go for it.
And imagine if your routine was like silly twirls of the disc before you putt it.
Yeah, who would do
Not
that?
even gripping it, you're just kind of flipping it over, getting it soaked. You can't be doing
Like,
that.
is this side wet enough? No, let me turn it over. Is
Yeah.
this side wet enough? I'll keep doing it.
I don't think anybody does stuff like that anymore.
I memean, fortunately, the Willamette Valley is a nice place to practice that.
Robinson still has this left for par.
It's pretty steep at the basket as well. Yes, nice putt.
I don't think that many people are making par from where his drive went.
Things are getting froggy out there. Don't go anywhere.
My Zuka car is most helpful because it allows me to carry a massive amount of discs. My backups have backups, and I could fit all of that in my cart.
The putter pouch, that's definitely my favorite feature. Slick, holds everything that I need in there.
The room and the things that I can carry on the course in the Zuka fits me perfectly.
I'm not the tall person right here. I like the handle. It can be up and down. That's my point right there. All I have to do is just thinking about what I'm gonna birdie.
Tone technology by Clash Discs.
Pre-flight check complete. We are go for launch. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Go for launch.
I mean, this is Macbeth's third throw, not even really able to run up. And what a shot.
Wow.
Yeah. I was just thinking, man, footing is going to be such an issue.
That's my thought. I think the landing zone on this hole has been one of the wettest, bumpiest areas of the whole course as you're coming down that hillside. So I think it's going to be few and far between, the birdies that we see there. And the idea that it could be eagleable, I'm losing hope. You would think, just based on the fact that it's par 5, 850, maybe the math adds up if you were able to just pierce this gap perfectly. But I don't know if the footing's going to be there for you, even if you were able to achieve an incredible tee shot, which this is one right here. That got a lot of distance. I think probably the best play is going to be hit the first gap, jump putt to the spot of your choice, and attack from 400 from there, and just see if you could get yourself a look for that birdie.
Yeah, over 50% of the field has bogey here on number 9 today. You know, this feels like one of those holes on tour that there should be a sign that just says top professionals only. You know, because this tee shot is so difficult. Everything about it is so challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. Pushing the envelope, I think, for how difficult a hole can be. This is a long throw in the rain. And I bet we're going to see a lot of that. Guys trying to power up, trying to get the timing perfect, trying to get the footing perfect. Because that's what it takes to reach this hole.
Proctor on the tee of 12.
Yeah, it's just one of those things I cannot see Proctor getting 4 more birdies.
It would be pretty special, that's for sure. That's a good start right there.
It is.
He's got a chance to throw something down there.
That rock that he landed next to is definitely one that I've always looked at as a good landmark.
So Burr's in a bit of trouble, I would say. That's high on the hill, a little left.
Yeah, not too dissimilar from what we saw from Ezra, right? I mean, still at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
He just jumped putted to the bottom.
Brian, do you have any assessment for what we're seeing from Wysocki?
Just trying to get down here somewhere. I mean, you're likely just to funnel through, roll down somewhere. There's really not too much you can plan for on this second shot. And I'm just as curious as the rest of these players that are kind of seeing this for the first time in competition. I think Sexton and Doss were kind of hitting on it. This shot to the green is so unpredictable. The ground is so varied. You're not going to have flat footing pretty much anywhere.
Come on. Oh, and it just trickles over that right side. I was thinking, man, he might get away with it.
Catching up with Austin Turner over on 18. Comes up just a few feet short, but Austin Turner is in the clubhouse with 4 under on today's round.
Yeah, only Parker Welk and Andrew Fish are better inside the clubhouse, nice and dry. I think an added challenge, as we see Ontala trying to prepare himself for this shot, is from here you're thinking, okay, I just need to get it up and over this ridge line. But it's blind. So you can't really pick a spot. You know, I'd like to be right there. That's great footing. I can blast it across. You can't do that. You just have to accept whatever you get and hope for the best. Oh, yeah. Proctor was right next to that big rock at inside circle 1. It's pretty good.
I feel I have to go ahead and say I'm feeling the slightest bit guilty for saying I didn't feel sorry for the guys earlier. As this rain continues to get a little worse, I'm kind of going to walk that back, say I'm feeling a bit of sympathy.
Now for Gannon, he can pick a spot because he could see over that ridge. And he stayed up top, should have a decent run up.
Yeah, go for it.
One of the things that I love about Steve Dodge when it comes to course design out here is A, he's willing to try something, but B, he's also willing to take it away. And if it doesn't work, he doesn't just stick to his guns and say, we put in a lot of work. He's willing to to make that adjustment. He'll be watching very closely of what everybody does out here.
And I feel like this was similar territory to where we saw Hede Laine this morning in terms of again, they played from a different tee, but then when she landed here from this spot, she was able to go after the green, and she put herself within circle 2 and had a chance at eagle. May even been deep circle 1, where she gave herself a look for the eagle from the FPO division. So absolutely possible to get there, and we're going to see the effort from Antala, but that looks to be inside. Well, it fights through.
Oh, yeah, just saw it right there.
So that's a long birdie look. I think everybody in the field would sign on the dotted line for a 75-footer for birdie on this one. It's so treacherous. The stats are looking pretty brutal for the field.
Ezra Robinson able to pitch out. That is his second shot on 10, so likely a par coming up.
Wow, creative little shot.
Man, I'm telling you, if you were to just go pull Robinson right now, they're like, how's the round going? I'm exhausted. I've had to make all these putts. The one on the last hole, it's raining.
Battling.
Yeah.
Corey Ellis trying to close out his round.
It was a late 7 on 17 for Corey Ellis. Nice bounce back there, though, with the birdie on 18. But, you know, cannot afford triple bogeys.
Yeah, kind of surprising. 17 traditionally one of the easier gets on the course. Flat footing in that area. I think you're setting yourself up for a pretty severe hyzer from there.
That's going to be a short run up. It dropped right off behind where he landed.
And Ezra saves the par.
Not too bad here. It's just a little dip right front, right behind of where his disc is. Nice shot.
Pretty interested to see how this hole plays this week as we get into hopefully some better weather. I'm a little worried that it's going to produce a lot of that kind of, let me just jump putt 80 feet down into the position. So we see Gannon rolling back, and that's going to be a big test to try to save his par.
Brian, we see Rick. Oh, never mind. We'll get back to you here in a moment, Brian. Got James Proctor here first. So Brian, we're back here with Ricky throwing his shot over the water. What's the carry here from down in this part of the fairway?
I'm feeling like it's playing, if you're at the very bottom, it maybe plays about 300 uphill. So where Ricky was, maybe about 350 or so. So it's a pretty huge smack for a standstill shot. This is pretty monstrous of a hole. I really can't wait to see the players play in some more calm conditions with hopefully a little bit drier land.
Thank you, Brian. And that weather's going to have to come quickly tomorrow, because come Saturday, Sunday, they will be playing the traditional pin on the traditional island green.
And we'll take a look at our Canna current conditions, which shows us 64 degrees in terms of the temperature. Winds are subtle at just 8 miles per hour coming out of the south to southwest. And well, the precipitation and humidity, I think you can see what's
I
going
mean,
on
I'd
there.
hate to see what 100% looks like. If that's 99, 100, you're just in the lake. Saw the circle 1 flags. I'd say it's about 1 Gannon pace, but two normal paces outside the circle.
Just heard Gannon talking about the grip and the challenges that you're having out there. Saki up and over the top.
Yeah, that was a great view of Antila as well. He's using his body to shield the disc. A smart move by him. Getting it dry and then just executing.
Two pars and 2 bogeys, I believe. Bogeys coming for Wysocki and for Burr there on the 9th.
Finds the open space needed there on hole number 11. Up ahead on 13, Gavin Babcock has a par look.
Nice putt there from Babcock. 6 under par, so tied for first place, and that keeps his scorecard free of any bogey strokes. Perfect C1X putting. It was amazing earlier today. Missy Gannon shot bogey free out here, putted 51% from C1X. It was unbelievable, and she made some huge circle 2 putts. But either way, Missy with a bogey-free round as well today, this morning.
Grip seems to be an issue there for Alden Harris as he's trying to close out and also find a way into the Tour Championship. Currently sitting in 33rd. That is 1 spot out.
That's it. That was an interesting group with Callaway and Aderhold, Alden, as well as Corey. And so the battle between Harris and Ellis, they tied for today's round.
Yeah, he's currently 4 points behind and out of the Tour Championship. So every putt, every point is going to matter this weekend for those guys.
And because of the way things were seeded out, you know, a lot of the guys are right around the bubble. They're already done. So as it stands right now, if everything were to stop, and remember, everybody that's playing on the course is already ahead of all these guys. You have Luke, who is held on to the 32nd spot. You have Harris in 33rd, and you have Ellis in 34th. So this is quite interesting to see what's going to happen over the next 3 days.
Wysocki challenged by a grip issue here. Looks like he's going to alternative. Wow. Gannon handing him a towel there for a moment.
It's not bad. There's makeable putts from that left side. You can find the little gap between the top of the castle and that tree that's to the left of the basket. Right. Finds the last gap between the big trees.
Great distance as well. Circle one.
So distance on the card is 377. Easily in perfect condition plays 450.
At least, I feel like.
And add the rain, you're looking at 470. It feels like about a 20-foot rain.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, power-wise.
Sure, I think so. Feet of distance, and a good bit of your accuracy has gone missing as well in these conditions.
Nice to have a good caddy on a day like today, somebody that you don't mind being in close quarters with, having some close conversations. This will save a lot on Gannon's energy levels today.
Ben on the bag last weekend, of course, helping him out as he took down the Green Mountain Championship.
Might have that little gap in that. You can see how the castle kind of has a couple raised spots.
Yeah, and I think about how much more difficult a putt is for someone like him because he has such a low release typically, right? In the way that he comes through in his motion.
I would say if he was closer to the wall, I would agree with you there, but he rolled back far enough. I think it's a pretty swing away type of
normal
putt.
swing.
He's going to have plenty of room to loft it, but I absolutely agree with you. As he gets up even closer to the wall, that could be an issue.
Then you kind of need that Matty O.
Yeah, or
off your chin pop.
Exactly that, or I think of an Ezra Robinson, who definitely is, you know, not as disadvantaged as some of our other players that have the really low swing. Effort by Wysocki, but not able to get it to drop.
Ezra lays that in there close. Par for him on 11.
Yeah, considerable rollback, as you were mentioning, Sexton.
got to blame the upshot there for that bogey. He was a little bit lazy with it. It got up high on him, hit the branches, and then, like we were saying, got the little roll away. Obviously, you'd like to save it with the putt, but you can't afford to put yourself in that position on this hole. It's a pretty simple shot to get it up over the castle wall from where he was sitting. Great birdie from Gannon Burr.
Not by much, but Waisaki gets it in.
If you're a new viewer to Maple Hill or DGN, I just want to point out all those colorful flags on top of the basket. I've never seen this strategy used to such great effect for a course, but they have a bunch of layouts out here, different baskets all over the place. This would indicate that if you're playing the red, the white, the blue, or the gold course, you're going towards this basket. Pretty genius way to do it, really visible, and it makes it so much more obvious to follow the flow if you're coming out here as a casual player. And I would definitely do that if you get the chance, and I would not be intimidated at all by the course that you're seeing these guys play, that gold layout. They have courses that would suit almost any skill level out here, and you're going to have an amazing time.
Yeah, great explanation there, Sexton. A guy like Simon Lazat very rarely plays gold out here as he lives in the area. A lot of times he plays blues or whites, reds even, just to go out and have fun.
Nice drive there out to the edge of the circle for Gavin.
Emerson Keith lining up his second shot on 18. As we were opening the show, Emerson Keith was one of our front runners and one of our leaders, and that's going to be out of bounds. And we're going to take a look at our birdie zone brought to us by our friends at Birdie Pro, Disc Golf's #1 selling board game. Make sure you go out to BotoBrothers.com, pick up your copy today, or head to one of your favorite Disc Golf Pro shops. Again, Birdie Pro.
Well, all due respect, but I would argue that left corner, bottom corner over here, you're not birdieing from over there. This, you can see, this is where the big bulk of the tree farm is. A lot of low trees over there, but as you go more left, the angle heading into the green becomes so much more difficult and severe. Now, from that far left side, we've seen players like Simon Lazat, Eagle McMahon go all the way over the top. That's not something that we see by the average. There's a big cutout here in the middle of the fairway that is the ideal landing zone, and personally, being center right is where you'd like to be, which gives you a nice shot into the big gap down there.
Brian, are we seeing the rain possibly even let up on us? And do you think it's going to stay that way the rest of the afternoon?
Yeah, I've been out here all day, and frankly, it's just been on and off the entirety of the day. Sometimes it's calm with a light sprinkle. Sometimes it's coming down really hard. You can't really predict it right now, but we can hope it stays away.
We'll have to wait and see where that landed with reference to these big trees, but it looked smoked to me. Nice turn on it. He doesn't look happy, so it might have made contact with one of those big trees.
Yeah, if he got through them, that next section was all low trees. He should have a fairly good shot.
So this is a little more conservative, playing flat to hyzer, not looking for the extra distance that we saw Berg go for.
A lot more stability on the disc for Calvin Heimberg.
Sweet. Thank you. Thanks.
So that's kind of center left where Ricky threw there. Calvin's going to be on the extreme right of the fairway. Let's see if Antela can put a good one down there. Yeah, I like this a lot. Come across and avoid the trees. Perfect.
Big moment. Gavin Babcock can take the outright lead here. Dangerous putt. Pond directly behind the pin.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in your estimation, do you think the new built-up green makes it a little less scary because it's not that immediate slope to the water? Or does that not make a difference?
Ever so slightly, maybe, but man, if you played this tournament a couple times, you might have enough trauma from the past that you aren't even noticing that. Because you still got to think about a skip off the top, a skip off the rim. You're probably clearing that wall easily in that scenario. Obviously, you got to run it though. If you throw the drive Babcock did, you got to try to pay that off and make birdie.
So Proctor's got 5 holes left.
Yeah, right.
Whoa.
Now he will get relief from there, correct? Or is it just marked?
I would expect
stanchions?
he'll get relief outside that.
Like how we saw
spectator area.
Paul on 2.
My
relief.
My assumption is that would be all bleachers are going to give you some kind of relief. But
So
we'll
is
see.
it? Man, I have a lot of questions about that because is it last place theoretically that you were in a playable spot, or is it just closest spot? We'll have to ask.
Hopefully, we'll get to see
Yeah,
the
we'll have to
result
ask
of that
about
one.
that
But how casual was that guy sitting there? Maybe he was on. Maybe he never saw it coming in. But glad to see no blood.
Yeah.
In that situation.
And that disc is coming in fast.
Absolutely, that was pretty scary.
So this big tree is going to be a problem for Antela. He needed to be a little bit more right.
Well, you can see the pin straight through this
Yep,
gap.
yep.
I would expect him to try to go right through there. More hyzer than I would have expected.
So see, if he's about 15 feet to his right, he can kind of twist a little turnover through there.
Sure. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Oh, we're seeing it right now with Calvin. He has a little bit more space to work. Kind of just a pure turnover that's trying to get to flat through this gap.
Got a good skip, but man, did that come out of the hand low.
And what a powerful drive for Robinson to be that far up the hill, to be then throwing back down straight through the tunnel.
So this is a great example of the more left you get, the more severe it is to try to enter the gap that we saw Antela and Calvin throwing through. It's just going to try to work the opposite of what Calvin just threw. So maybe not. He's switching up. Same disc. And making it work. Oh my goodness.
Wow. That was pretty special there to be lining up forehand, quickly make the change and throw the shot that precisely.
Yeah. So I was thinking he was going to try to throw a sidearm turnover that just kind of tried to work to flat. And I guess it's the same disc.
Macbeth has a long birdie look, and he's going to go deep on 12.
Have a long par look now.
Take another look. Calling this a close shave.
I don't think it's going to help shave any strokes off after this next putt. Oh, that was kind of nice, hitting the upslope right there. Kept him inside circle 1. If he gets to that next downslope, it's another 15 feet. Easy.
This is the result of that big drive from Gannon-Burr. He did get caught up in here. But distance is always going to be your friend. He's going to have a little bit more ability to maybe throw a slow disc, work angles. Never quite stabled up the way I think he expected it to, but he'll have a long look.
Macbeth coming back for the par. That one's high out of his hand. It was offline immediately. Or should I say off height, I suppose. It looked to be online, but certainly too high of a release. Robinson now trying to save par.
It was interesting how high he went on that putt.
I think the perspective is tricky to judge when it's zoomed in from so far, and I know why they're doing that, because sometimes the signal strength is an issue down here on this corner of the course. But I think from our perspective, that looked like 28, and I have a feeling it was more like 45.
Sure. Yeah, clearly it had some distance.
Confident putt from Gannon-Burr. Looks like we've got Adam Hammes.
There was Proctor just laying up. Couldn't tell if he was inside where the stands were or not. Different perspective.
Par for Gavin on the 15th. Gavin Babcock's your leader. More when we return.
You're looking at a work of art. No, it's not the Mona Lisa. But this beautiful can costs a lot less and looks magnificent in your bathroom. And Mona Lisa can't give you a smooth, close shave. Barbasol, it's a can of can-do.
This sport is about trust. It's about confidence in your disc. All the untold hours of development and commitment are here for you. The MVP Pro Shop. Start your journey today.
Matt Oram on the tee of hole number 14. Brought to us by our friends at Letterer Plumbing.
Defending champion, Matty-O.
Right to win.
Ace! Nelly! Here we go!
Matt Oram, an ace on hole number 14. And we're going to give that also the one-shot energy replay.
I mean, it was, as you said, Terry, it was right in the wind. A couple air bounces. I wasn't quite sure. But
yeah, the lift there.
My gosh.
And then it's tracking to the pin.
It was pure.
Oh,
just pure.
Wow. And even better, we have the Letterer Plumbing Ace Bounty. Letterer Plumbing is proud to serve Central Massachusetts and is the official plumbers of Maple Hill. From leaking pipes to radiant floors to commercial projects, call Letterer Plumbing your forever plumbers.
That might be the hole of all the holes on tour that I've been wanting to see aced. I've never seen it. There's been a lot of close ones. That's a lifetime type of ace.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And for Matty-O, the defending champion, this will be a moment he'll never forget. Neither will we.
OTB shot of the year.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, boy, and that just kept going. A little too straight there for Ezra. Conditions improved by a factor of 100%.
That is a monster drive. Down left, but so much distance.
It's also here at Maple Hill just one of the courses that by the factor of an actual business of selling Christmas trees, you can change the course significantly.
Sure.
You know, is it a part that they're clearing out, or is it a part that they're allowing to grow up? Because when we first started playing this tee path, the trees that are directly off the tee, you could throw over
easily.
And now you have to sort of bend around them.
Big late flip from Heimberg. That's up high right of where he'd like to be, I think.
And the higher on the hill you are, the more severe that second shot is, and speed control is so critical coming into this green here on 13. Excuse me, 12.
It can start to tempt you to throw a big hyzer over the top, too, as you get way up to the right, which I've seen have quite a wide array of results when people roll the dice with that shot.
And that rock right there is, I've said it for years now as a commentator. I used it as a player as well. You're nearly dead center of the fairway. You're looking right down at the pin. You can actually see the basket.
McBeth with a birdie look on 13. Bends that one around. McBeth moves to 5 under.
Oh, I think I know where we're going. McBeth just made a putt on 13. I'm guessing we're flashing back to this one right here.
Is that a putt?
I think so, but barely. I mean, not for most, but I mean, it's more about the form he used to throw it.
Yeah.
He putted it, but 117 dead center down the hill.
I like to call that a jump throw.
Sure.
Who else did we see on that card? Conrad, Heimberg, Wysocki, some names that we're still talking about here all these years later, of course, 6 years later.
Hall of Famers. Those 4 guys.
I think Proctor could be in some trouble. That was an early kick left. There's a big kind of gully you're going over on that tee shot. If he didn't get up out the other side of that, it can get really tricky.
Seeing our first look at the tee shot of 16, now the basket of 16. The location of another incredible ace by Kevin Jones several years ago. Wow. Shot. Rick with a couple of tap-in birdies. Those go a long way out here at Maple Hill.
Now seeing Gavin Babcock teeing on 16.
Didn't get the flip he's looking for out of that forehand. Do you guys don't have any memory of an ace on hole 14 in the past, do you?
We've seen a lot of chain and metal hits, and I don't know that we've seen one. We haven't seen one from up top that I can recall.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. But I don't have memory.
It's got to be one of the most desired aces on the whole tour. To imagine just going over all that water, risking everything, and then, man, I'm thrilled for Matt.
Yeah, the only other one that I think is more desirable, just because of the course location, is hole 17 at Winthrop.
Sure, but we see a lot of aces on that.
I know,
or
but
a fair
that
number,
one,
but it is special as well.
Come on.
Me personally, give me 14.
Sure,
Maple.
sure.
Speaking of which, we were talking about Letterer being the sponsor, also a $500 ace bounty. So Matty O putting an extra, little stack of bills in his back pocket here for the weekend.
Is that for any hole, Terry?
I believe that was just listed on hole 14.
Wow.
I can confirm as much, but yeah, hole 14 is where I see it listed for. So thanks to our friends over at LettererPlumbing.com.
That was pretty incredible.
Yeah, huge tee shot, and look at what he had to try to go through.
Yeah, no, that was solid.
Like he went with just that little flex turnover sidearm.
Yeah.
Gavin's second.
This would be a huge scramble par if he can get up and down. He's got a couple of holes left. He's on a fantastic round and first by himself. We've seen a lot of putts made from that short kind of bog area, sort of the center.
Robinson hasn't birdied since hole 8.
Yeah, and that's the exact same thing for James Proctor.
Yeah, really hit a slow down.
And they were playing in the heavy rain on 9 and 10, 11, 12.
Demanding big, long throws, hard to be accurate. As we've seen, we're not getting a whole ton of birdies through that stretch today.
Oh.
Good bid from Babcock.
Going to be his first bogey of the day.
I'm going to say it. No double-digit rounds today.
It's looking really I wish I could change my prediction.
We'll roll the tape later. Here's Macbeth heading hard left.
In the circle.
Hits
Nice.
the green flag.
Yeah, hit the side hill there. You can just barely see it. He's edge of circle. It's got to just be on this hole. I mean, look,
Yeah,
Letter
I'm
Plumbing.
sure it is. I'm sure it is.
They might have even helped install that wall.
Oh, show me this again.
That air bounce right there, you know, you're thinking, okay, just probably hard left, but dead center.
Never a doubt from Matt Oram. And what a moment to be standing there, taking it all in. Oram's going to run up.
His reaction on the tee had to just be priceless.
Oh my gosh, the energy to be one of the fans sitting there. What a moment to have witnessed. Just such a special shot. You can see all the other players just thrilled. I'm thrilled to just see that go in from way back. I really feel one of the most dreamlike holes you can ever step up to. When you step up to the tee, you go, seriously, this is what we're doing. Down over all this with the beautiful wall. Deep in the woods. Antila makes a great shot.
And I kind of want to clarify my statement earlier about how these tap-ins for Ricky go a long way here at Maple Hill. It's the stress level. There's now none. And he's able to at least relieve a little stress for about 10. This is a stressful round. When you play from the first shot to that 18th green, it does not let up. There's not really a spot in the course where you're like kind of just going through the motions. And over the last 2 holes, he's been able to be completely worry-free. So that's just to clarify how important I think these are for Ricky.
Yeah, well, I think what it takes away is, like, if you've got a 35-footer upcoming, there's just this weight on your shoulders as you're watching Niklas go through his practice pump or whatever. Not to say that those guys shouldn't be able to take their time to do everything. But you're going, all right, when's it my turn? And if you once you're parked, it's just like he could essentially be up on 13's tee mentally.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going to move up to 13. We'll watch them tee off when we come back.
Help! I'm so weak.
Hey. Leave that poor boy alone.
And who are you supposed to be, punk?
I'm you, man.
Huh?
Ezra Robinson, a birdie look. Not a problem. Robinson, the birdie on 14.
That drought is over. 7 under, bogey free now for Ezra and the solo lead.
Macbeth to stay 1 behind him. And Macbeth also converts.
I mean, I guess double digits slightly back in play as Robinson's 7 down with 4 to go. But really up in the final 4 holes, only 17 being one of the easier holes on the property. Nice birdie there by Proctor. Kind of skipped over that. Park job.
James Proctor will get to 7 as soon as the scoring updates. Robinson and Proctor both bogey free, whereas Macbeth, sandwiched between the two of them, has 2 bogeys on his card.
Big hyzer from Gannon Burr. Did not clear it cleanly, but still fought over that first wall. It's going to be all right for his par, you would think.
Rick's just going to try to work off this big tree on the left side, working back to the right. That initially just did not have the move it needed, but got through a long way. I'm not even sure where he's at. He's way left of the basket.
Could almost potentially have gotten through too well at a certain point.
And there's that big pine tree down there left of the gap. Unless you go over the top, of course. Yeah, you can see that pine tree. If you're just twisting to the right past that, it's on a great line. And really, in fair conditions like this, you don't need anything much more than a mid. If you're going up the middle.
Nobody's going to be happy with their tee shot there. I don't know one's even circle 2 in the group.
So I think going over the top, you have less of a chance of parking it, but you have a better chance to make par.
Yeah, that's
on a bad one.
That's what I think. Lower birdie chance, lower bogey chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Macbeth teeing on 15. And this flips up beautifully. Oh, almost too much though. However, he's going to find a back door. And Macbeth just deep of the pin, looking for a birdie. Roll the Zuka replay.
Very nice shot.
I over the years, I've just loved the design of this hole. And obviously it's a natural design as this gap, as you see, kind of gets tighter and tighter and tighter as you get to the pin. And you really have to work a mid down this gap. You can throw a fairway driver as well, but a lot of times we see these guys going with their mid-ranges. Kind of hyzer flip it down there like we saw from Paul.
Early hit for Robinson. He's going to be in trouble. Now, Antala.
So ideally, unless you're going to throw it in like Paul did, you're trying to hit into the little upslope just in front of the pin. It's overplayed. There's a little ditch about 15 feet short of the basket, and if you can throw it into that kind of, hillside, you can bounce forward and actually stay close to the basket.
Babcock with his second on 17. We short right, but still inside circle 1.
Close. It plays away down to the right there. We'll see.
Yeah, here's a good look at how tough 15 can get. I think easy to think of 15 as one of the shortest, simplest holes, and in a way it is. But this ravine is tough. Can Ezra get up there? It's not stopping anytime soon. But you can tell how much is in his way. The fact that he's forced into a forehand roller.
So in today's conditions of the final 4 holes, the easiest is hole 17 with a 34% birdie rate. 18 is 12%. So get your birdie on 17.
That looks gorgeous on the disc too. Wow.
A little newt on the course.
It's got to be a newt. He's pretty cool, man. He's just bright orange.
Canoe.
Well,
one's Norwegian, right?
Yeah, I think it's a snow tolerance. It's kind of a snow tolerance thing.
Destroyed.
Oh, correct. Nice shot, buddy.
Oh, he almost threw that in. What a shot from Wysocki, and it sticks close as well.
Kevin trying to get back to the 7 under where he was moments ago, but not going to happen here. That's going to be a par.
And I will say that was in circle 2. I think he did work away from the pin. Montour has struggled. Definitely on the green mostly. And really, it's the scramble rate, right? I mean, his upshots haven't been great.
Left himself a lot of work from some locations that he wouldn't expect to have that much putting left to do. And then also there was that almost inexplicable miss he had back on 6.
And oh, okay. No, I thought I saw him running down the hill, but I think he's just trying to get out of the way of Cal. So, man, interesting to note here, hole 13, the one we're on, is one of the most difficult holes to par. In fact, even on the birdie rate as 18. There's been as many birdies on 18 as there has been here on 14.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
13.
at the end of the day, 470 feet through the trees, it takes a really precise shot to get down there and have something you can knock in the birdie. I am still a bit surprised to see the numbers that low.
Because of all the rain,
but it's
maybe
probably
too.
that. It's just that you can't really trust like the drifty turnover you want to throw when your grip isn't there for you.
Robinson trying to save par. He lost at least 30 feet on the roll away. You know, it looked like it was getting close to the basket or going to put him in circle 1, and ultimately rolls away deep. And he's going to walk away now with the bogey.
Yeah, and eventually just the circle 2 monster bit over there with Ezra. I mean, he's been saving everything. And that's a little overturned. Not impossible to get up and down.
Macbeth to get a share of the lead.
Great day for Macbeth so far. I can't help but think about that statistic, that run of whatever it is, 12 or 13 consecutive seasons with a top-level Elite Series win. Ricky Wysocki, the current leader in that statistic because he has a win this year. Macbeth's still waiting. Could he find his mojo here late? That would be an incredible story if he can keep on this kind of pace. Shots like this go a long way, these bonus birdies. Maple Hill has so many of them. Continuing to flip up, needs to sit.
It's going to make it all the way out into the opening, and Macbeth will have a birdie luck.
That's great. That officially is a great drive on this hole. I mean, anything where you're putting for birdie is pretty incredible on 16.
greatness and all of the just experience that Paul Macbeth has, a win is always there for the possibility, for the taking. The difference between this season and last is the injury, and then of course the play of Gannon Buhr, Calvin Heimberg, so many great players now that are gaining that type of experience of winning big events on a regular basis.
Nice trust from Buhr. Rick does not have that same trust. Out of the hand early. This will be down in the woods.
Common collection point here on 14.
He gets deep into the round to still have the to-go coffee cup. That's a testament to the caddy. Keeping that thing upright for 2 hours. Similar from Calvin.
I would also, shocker, but is he drinking coffee? I've known Rick for a long time. I've never seen him drink a cup of coffee in my life.
Could be tea.
Yeah, maybe. Something warm, right?
Probably not anymore.
True.
Needs a lift.
Needs a lot of help. Go long, maybe? Nope.
I think it hit it. I mean, it doesn't matter. I think it's dropped. If you hit the wall, you go to the other drop zone. Oh, did it hit it? I didn't see it. I don't think it hit it.
Is there someone watching it?
Is that really the topic of conversation? That if he hits it, he goes to the other drop zone? There's no way they're going to be able to tell that, though.
That is in the text on the T sign, though.
Ezra laces it right up the middle.
What a shot.
Yeah, nice bounce back for Ezra.
Just that perfect little hint of flip in the middle of the flight to keep the driver going straight the whole time. Soft skip.
You can only imagine what this is going to be.
Yeah, you can't watch hole 16 without watching this.
Originally, I was so worried about him. He popped right up. He knew it was a good one. Unbelievable. This was in an OTB Skins.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's been more memes of anything else in disc golf that top what we've seen from this.
GK Skins. My apologies. GK Skins. Of course, Luke.
Ricky right there as well.
I guess it was determined that Nicholas did not hit the wall.
Yep. Yep.
Now we'll be putting from circle 2.
High risk. Proctor trying to cut the corner, and it didn't sound good.
You know, I find it interesting on 17 when you're over there, you can't imagine just pitching hard left. So most everybody tries, but it can cost. Nice.
Macbeth to take the solo lead.
And on his way to double
10.
digits.
I was just about to say, the alert is on.
And Paul Macbeth season in review. When we take a look, his best finish has finished 3 times in second so far this season. His worst was 64th at Waco, and 13-year streak of at least 1 Elite Series or major wins is being threatened this season. As we're calling for, if Paul McBeth were to pull off a victory here this weekend, he would clearly extend that streak. Waisaki's going to pitch out for the par.
How cool would that be to see him extend the streak and match Waisaki? Just the longevity of those guys, both of those guys playing at the absolute top. Incredible. There's probably someone out there who's not rooting for McBeth to find a win, but I don't know him well, whoever it is. That would be so cool to see him clutch up and get it done. Oh no, Calvin. Nothing more than a layup there. And he just miscalculated how high it was going to get out of his hand. He might have to lay up again.
Babcock throwing his second on 18.
Taking the risk. And he's going to get the reward.
Beautiful shot. Just wrapping around that corner.
That'll push him to 7 under. Now Heimberg still with work to do.
Oh, he's got to go for this. This is pretty open.
What a recovery. After a terrible approach, Heimberg steps up from 45 and makes the putt.
So your blood pressure's through the roof. You just had a horrible upset. And that makes it all feel much better.
What a save.
Thank you all.
That's exactly what you're talking about. In years past, that's gone.
Yeah, no doubt, right? Because it's that slope immediately into the water.
But the other side of that is some drives coming in, hitting the top of that castle wall, are going to go into the water. So, can be your friend, can be your enemy. Good bogey save after the bad drive for Antila.
Yeah, if you want. Let's grab my putter.
Both Waisaki and Burr in for the pars. That was for Proctor to save par. It'll be his first bogey of the day.
So this takes us into the other topic of conversation when it comes to points for Babcock. So he's in. But can he move up and get himself a few strokes more under par as we go into the Tour Championship? Because that's very critical as well. You know, this year's Tour Championship is a 4-round tournament, but based on your points, you're going to start a certain part or a certain under par based on your standings. And so critical points here to move up. Give yourself a better chance to be closer to the lead.
Right now, we've seen Gavin from today's play move from 18th into 14th.
And watching him putt that in, I was struck with the memory from last year. And just confirming now, last year he did have the hot round of the tournament at -10 at this event. So Gavin Babcock, a big fan, playing out here at Maple Hill. He's really done well these last 2 seasons.
And as you were just talking about there, Doss, we see that when he came in, he would have been given a 3-stroke advantage going into the Tour Championship, but from moving from 18th into 14th, he would actually get a 4-stroke advantage or starting spot, so to speak. So yes, points certainly matter here as to where they're finishing and what that's going to look like in October.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much money on the line in the Tour Championship that, I mean, one stroke could really change your season in a lot of ways as far as the pocketbook is concerned. I think so far back, he's just forced to lay this up, and not a good one at that. Third shot's going to be very challenging. The angle there being that far right, trying to get on the green is going to be not easy.
Gannon flex game.
Such a Gannon play, right? You know, we saw Paul go with that nice smooth mid up the center of the fairway, a little overturned, and Gannon just takes a lot of that out of play.
Good ground play here. Oh, he's not even going to get the chance with the tree kick. Maybe deep circle 2 for Rick. Hard to tell. That's that danger area again where we've seen some players struggle. Down in all those bushes at the bottom of that gully. Often blind to the pin and just about 50 trees in your way. That's going to fly backwards a good deal. Hitting with so cleanly with high spin. He's going to also be challenged, I think, by this next shot.
Take another look at the Gannon Bird drive, thanks to our friends at Zuka.
So it's kind of hard to tell what he's doing, but he's going around the initial big tree, and then there's a gap that he can just work out to what was a different fairway years ago that we played over here on the right side. Very cleared out, not a lot of trees at all. You can kind of see that gap near in the upper right-hand part of your screen. It's a smart play if you can throw that kind of shot. Not all players have that in their game.
Ryan, can you give us any assessment of some of the lies we're going to see out here? Looks like Antela will be going first.
Just see the flag up there. Left side of the screen. Good recovery.
Yeah, there's that tree in the way. Springs to that early tree. Okay, you're like over there.
Now really a fantastic example of what you've been explaining several times. So many trees in the way. He's going to have to try to go for this big loopy sidearm.
And he's fortunate to have space to swing his arm. Often you get in these bushes and you don't even have that luxury.
He's going to have to save another one. So Rick's kind of at that point in his round. He's 4 under. You know, he's thinking ahead a little bit. You know, 16, you got to hit the tee shot, give yourself a chance. 17, he's going to feel like he's going to have a great chance. So 18 is dependent on the tee. You know, he's thinking maybe 5, 6 under would be ideal, and that's a solid round. You know, especially when the lead's only at 8 under at the moment.
I think a near lock to be in the top 10, and certainly at 6.
Yeah, I mean,
potentially even at 5.
Exactly, and it's just one of those things that I feel like when you're playing Maple Hill, you can't just always be thinking course record. You can't always be thinking I got to shoot the hot score, because it's so cumulative. It's very difficult to go 10, say one day, and follow it up with a 10 the next day. It just does not happen that often. Typically, the winner of this tournament will have at least one round where he's
3 or something.
Yeah, maybe that it's 7th or 10th best score of the day.
Yeah.
And that happens quite often out here.
All right, Macbeth, solo leader, 17's tee. I like it. Just a little bit of action there late, but I think that's going to be attackable.
Check this angle out. It's got to put so much hyzer on it. And already that looks bad. Yeah. As soon as he released it, it looked bad.
Azra on the TF-17.
Maybe a little better. Going to miss that big one. Yes.
That's the landing zone for sure.
Yeah, remember that point in the air where those guys left, the gap. And Ezra just a little bit more turn on it, missing that big, huge pine tree down there. By far the better of the two kicks on those early big trees. If you kick the opposite direction, there is OB, very thick rough. If you go right, it's a lot thinner, and a chance to scramble is much better.
A little too high.
What a roll! What a roll!
Come on.
We got a Gannon roll.
Yeah.
I was fine over the left, but
You got to call your shot, Rick. Look at this thing.
Off the ad wall, and it rolls all the way back to the pin. Off the Paul Macbeth wall.
That's the
Paul
first
helping
time
him
that
out.
Paul's ever helped him. Get a birdie anyways.
You hear the confidence of Rick, kind of the sheepish grin, not wanting to be seen as getting lucky. I heard him say, I was fine over there on the left.
Yeah, I heard him. Yeah,
You
I
can
like it
kinda
over
believe-
there.
You can kind of believe him. Like, what? I was 40-footers all I wanted. I make those all the time anyway.
So effectively, it was in regardless in his mind.
That's what he's telling. That's what he would have us believe. Oh, yes.
Without that tree kick, that might have been in the basket. That was so good from Calvin.
We're going to take another look at Calvin's as it was coming in. The Barbasol close shave replay.
Yeah, wow. Would have been pretty close. I agree with you. If it could have got past that tree and just hyzered naturally.
And that goes through clean. Antala just outside of bullseye.
3 fantastic drives.
McBeth trying to get to 9 under. He'll have a chance.
It's a good shot. Right there, about 15 feet away. With a couple of bogeys, too. What a day for McBeth so far. See Ezra from the perfect spot. All he has left is a putt. A little bit of Anheuser. Likely only needs to go about 130, 140 feet with a little downhill as he gets the turn over that little rise. Very well done. So you can see what Nate was talking about. A little more open over here. Not that demanding of a window. And Gannon does really well.
Good to clear that.
The umbrella?
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's not raining anymore.
It's like the drippy of most drippy umbrellas, the European Open one.
Since Proctor playing last place in bounds.
He just bounced that off the top of the wall.
Wow, and with that, he'll tap in for the double bogey finish. So James Proctor just running into trouble late in the round, closing out with a bogey and a double bogey to fall back to 4 under. Still, overall, pretty solid score, but he was on pace for something special.
Yeah, it's kind of like how you get there is the critical thing to talk about. Had he parred every hole of the course and then birdied the last 4, it would feel way different than it feels right now.
Paul McBeth to -9. 2 shots clear.
Can he somehow find a miracle birdie on 18 and give you...
Oh, it's not a miracle, baby.
Come on now.
It's just a birdie for that man.
That would, I mean, that would put him on 6 in a row to finish. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like, it's how, and Maple Hill, it's always about this back 6 holes. It can change everything. You know, a perfect example is Antela here. He's been really kind of down in the dumps over the last 5 or 6 holes, had to really battle. But if he can find another birdie on 17 and maybe one on 18, he's going to feel so much better than what Proctor is at, and they would be at the exact same score.
Certainly.
Rick rolls right into the bullseye for the easy tap-in birdie, and we're going to keep things rolling here on the network. We'll be right back.
TeamDiscraft.com, your ultimate destination for exclusive player-inspired releases, collaborations, and collections. Discover limited edition discs, apparel, and accessories you won't find anywhere else. TeamDiscraft.com brings you the gear you need for the ultimate fan shopping experience. Don't miss out on these one-of-a-kind items. Shop today and rep your favorite team.
And I think a very solid opening round for the defending champion. 5 under. Kind of gets you off on the right foot. You're going to be in the last, 3 groups, 2 groups.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Puritan.
Great location in the fairway. Looked like a smooth little swing, but he got a beautiful flip up on it.
And this is the snake bite of 18. You throw a good shot. Now that could be a birdie. That could also be a bogey or a double so quick because of the difficulty of the green.
And there are certainly players out there that I think would take par out of this situation.
Yep.
Sitting at the score that Paul's at. I don't think he's that player, though.
I cannot imagine him laying up unless there's another factor that we're unaware of. That's big tree bound. He left it.
Ooh, just in bounds. Good location, though. Straight shot from there.
Got faded. So close.
Don't see too many miss the gap here. That's going to be a shocker for Calvin, but I think he still has a good chance to take a par if he's not just buried in the Christmas trees. This is potentially pushing up towards that OB line long. Nice shot.
Ezra throwing his second.
And again, I just want to throw out the fact that because Ezra was out of position, there's no chance to go for it. So it becomes a completely different hole for him.
Sometimes that almost could be a blessing in disguise to not tempt you.
Yeah.
Just saying, hey, I'm perfectly fine walking away with a par here.
Such a fine line on 17. Just to be perfect.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get a round of applause for Matthew Orr. Letter applying hole 14, ace bounty. Someone with that more supply. Let him hear it.
Matteo cashing in on the letter bounty.
I think
ace on 14.
I mean, that's a representative or Mr. Letterer himself. He's going to be $500 lighter after this incredible ace from Matteo.
I mean, just think how special your ace has to be for when you putt out on 18, for the crowd to go crazy and there to be announcers going, you hit that ace. Like, it is the hole at the course to make an ace on.
Now, if that's not a Sports Center top 10, I don't know what is.
Oh, Calvin is absolutely buried. I did not think it was going to be this bad. I thought he at least made it out to the Christmas trees.
Crucial shot here from Macbeth, trying to close out on 18. Can he get to 10 under? Needs a flex back.
No, it's long. Surprising amount of flex there. Usually you see guys go flat to hyzer or pure hyzer.
He's still a long way from the pin. You know, I agree with you, but also I'm thinking it was hard.
Sure.
We only watched it very quickly.
Sure.
He might have been out at that 400 marker, 380, with the uphill slope to the pin.
Scramble himself into a par save on the 17th.
That would be a ridiculous par.
Anthony Barella going for the pin on 18. Skips up and right to the basket. Barella tap in birdie to close out his round.
Nice. Similar location.
Great example. That what you just explained, how he was able to pretty much just go pure hyzer with maybe just the hair of flatten.
Yeah. And I guess the only thing you could say is that is Anthony Barella we're watching.
Correct.
So it comes out with a little bit of a different kind of pace than most people trying to go to that forehand. But wow, right off the railroad tie, nearly jumping up in the basket. Perfect.
Trying to come in just short and skip to the pin. It looks like he'll have a look for birdie.
From my perspective, it seems like Gannon could throw just a little turnover, a little baby turnover that just flattens. So he's going to take a look, and we'll jump up to Robinson here on 18. He's going to take this scary gap. Wow, what a shot. Not everybody's doing that from there.
No, you got to have that command over the distance putt to think about, I think, hitting that gap above OB wall, and everything in between him and the pin is OB as well.
So in a week where his brother, Isaac, is taking some time off, so we head to the USCGC. I mean, Ezra, the best Robinson in the field, and you can see Ezra finally getting across that finish line at a course like this. He's making putts the way he did today.
He's getting really close to the top of the list of guys who kind of quote-unquote deserve that big win.
Yeah.
The level he's been playing at, obviously still young in his career, but he's got to be one of the more likely breakthrough guys at this point. Just perfect for Gannon. This is another day where I'm just left wondering, is Gannonburg playing well today? He's in fourth. He's likely to be in third in a few seconds. Is he playing well? I'm not sure. He's missed a couple putts that we expect him to make. He hasn't been, thrilled with this round. All I'm trying to do is compliment him in a roundabout way and say, the level he's at right now, it's hard to feel like he's having a special day, and yet you look at the leaderboard and he's right there.
To kind of put an exclamation point on that example, and this is no disrespect to Gavin Babcock, but today is a day that Gavin Babcock will put down as one of the top 10 days of his career. Gainer Burr, on the other hand, it's just another day at work.
Yep. And it's not surprising for the #1 player in the world, but I just still marvel at it.
Antila not getting razzed there, just as you heard the DJ or announcer up on top of 18. Macbeth is at the drop zone trying to stay at 9 under, which would keep him as our solo leader. Macbeth will step up and tap out. That is his 3rd bogey of the round, but he'll finish as a co-leader at 8 under.
Look at the last 9 holes, just 1 par. And I also want to just say that the only reason he went from the drop zone is because his disc crossed the island. So you have to cross the island and then you go to the drop zone. Otherwise, it's last place in bounds over there on 18.
Well, Brian Earhart caught up with Macbeth immediately after his round, and here's what he had to say.
All right, joining me now in the clubhouse, Paul Macbeth, 8 down for round #1. Solid day out there. How was it from your perspective?
Pretty good. I felt like I started slow, even though I got a birdie. I just wasn't hitting my angles early on. But I was getting a lot of birdies out there, and I mean, it was a good day overall. Good first day.
3 bogeys. You're walking up the stairs and kind of expressed some frustration about them. Is 3 bogeys expected out here at Maple Hill, or is it pretty easy to go clean?
18 makes sense, but the other 2 were just really bad, kind of longer putts that floated away and put me at the edge of circle, and I ended up missing those. So those were bogeys I shouldn't have had. 18 makes sense, though.
Talking about 18, is there a boundary that you set with yourself in regards to when you go for it, when you don't go for it, or is it just intuition?
Today if I'm in an open spot and I can see the basket, I'm more than likely going to go for it. Today I thought I threw it perfect, but just carried long. But I think if I'm in a little trouble and I don't feel like I can hit that line, at least half the time, I'll probably lay it up. But with what Steve did with the OB there, layups are not gimmies anymore.
I want to ask about the new hole 9. How did it play in competition? What are your thoughts on it as a whole in general?
I'm not a big fan of 9. I think they stretch it a little bit too far because even if you do throw a great tee shot there on the par 5, you're throwing a blind little 120-foot upshot down to a bottom, with OB left, right, long. Not the biggest fan of that. Even the par 4, I don't know how I'm going to even birdie. I didn't even play it because it wasn't worth it. It's the same kind of upshot and then try to make a long putt. So not the biggest fan of 9.
8 down today in these conditions with the slick tee pads, the rain coming down all day. How far do you think someone has to go when there's no rain and there's good conditions?
I think it's pretty similar. I think this kind of made people be a little bit more controlled and not take as many risks as they normally would. So I think double digits are possible, but I think if you shoot 7 to 8 each round, that's going to be in contention to win.
Paul, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Another big mistake by Calvin, overturning it. It's going to go OB right. It's always great to hear from Paul and his insight, not only into his own game, but potentially how other people would play it as well. And basically agree with everything he said there. And, it's, as we were saying, birdie bogey on 18. Man, that run of birdies from 13 to 17, pretty awesome.
Really good round.
Let's take a look at your keys for closing, brought to us by BlackInkDisc.com, the premium disc golf store.
All right, so aggressive accuracy, we know how critical that is. We saw that in a perfect example in 16. by those guys. C2 putting, got to make a circle 2 putt here and there if you want to go low. We saw that from Macbeth as he was coming down the stretch, and then hole 18 scoring. It can be a big, wide array, especially when you add up all 4 rounds, right? I mean, if you go on to bogey it every round, that's 4 over, but you could be so close to being 4 under on it as well. In my opinion, one of, if not the best, final hole in disc golf. And the reason I say that is not necessarily the design aspect, but I love the decisions that have to be made as you come down the stretch and say a final round going for maybe your first win. What does Ezra Robinson do if he's near the lead? Matty O last year having to get through hole 18 to take home his first Disc Golf Pro Tour. So I just absolutely love it. It's up there with the 18th at Winthrop.
Nokia as well. I would
Yeah,
throw in there.
Nokia. Yeah, great example as well.
They've got, so they all have that risk reward. They all have that double bogey potential. So you can never really sew it up until you tap in that 18th.
And none of them are so long that just playing it for par is out of the realm of possibility as well.
Yeah.
But never that easy to do it.
Yeah, for Calvin going OB on the right here, I think that basically takes out any chance to go for the green. The angle's just terrible. So he's got to pitch up and play for bogey at this point.
You know, we've seen people lose their mind and go for it from down there. In fact, one year we saw, I can't remember who it was, but they snuck through the trees on the right and got on the green. But odds are you're looking at a double if you go for it.
So what it comes down to now is Gannon Burke could be in the lead.
Exactly.
If he throws this shot on the green. And he's in a great spot to do just that, if he can get his disc dry.
See, I think he's about 50, 60 more up the fairway than Paul.
I agree.
And now he can take that more extreme angle. So he can go left of the Christmas tree in the fairway on hyzer, and that should feed him right to the pin. It's a little flat.
Bit wide.
Gannon Burr finds the green on the 18th, and as you guys said, he could be a co-leader with Macbeth and Ezra Robinson.
You just can't get rid of the guy. If you're the field.
Especially this month. He hasn't been taking a shot from Wysocki. Gannon Burr has not taken even many 3-hole stretches off this month. It's like there's no slowdown.
Well, it was in the middle of hole number 3 when I was saying he's not throwing perfect shots. He was so pure over at least the last 3 rounds last weekend, and he just hadn't hit a groove yet in the first couple of holes, and Gannon's just thinking, yeah, shut up, I hear you out there in the booth. I'll take it over from here. And let's take a look at some of these stats.
Probably is listening.
Second highest average rating, 1071.7 rating. Trails only Paul Macbeth, who averaged 1071.8. All right, we're talking about tenths of a point there.
And look, the preliminary rating, if he makes that putt, is 1075. So that average is going up, and that number of 1075 plus rounds is going up. If he can knock that putt in, more than likely. We'll see what it adjusts to officially. But for the time being, that's sitting at 1075 right on that line.
I kind of think we got everything we could have asked for today. Macbeth, chance to shoot double digits. Ezra Robinson, the guy that is probably the next guy to win on the Pro Tour of a few. Gannon Burr, #1 player in the world. And Gavin Babcock, kind of, a guy that we know plays well. He's in the 20s or 18th heading into this tournament. So I think really cool, great final group. And then you have Ricky right there in the chase card, along with the defending champion, Matty O, Gossage. Well, I mean, Gossage could be considered one of those guys who's the next man up to win a Pro Tour.
Absolutely.
Pretty great day, and groups continue to get better from there. You got Dickerson and Proctor, Colton Montgomery coming up with one of his best rounds of the season today. Oh, and I got to apologize to Rick. Looks like he will make the lead card.
Yeah, he is parked here. So
Really, now you got everything.
Gannon Burr tied for first. Just like that. Couple mistakes. Not everyone had their mistakes. Not trying to say anybody played mistake-free today, but he's doing it again, folks. A very nice start.
There might be, I'm just guessing, a small percentage of people out there that want to just see him struggle. If not for entertainment than anything. But I think for me sitting in the booth, it's like, how far can we stretch this thing? How good and how consistent can it be? That's what I'm really looking at.
Absolutely. I mean, a run like he's on doesn't last very long for anybody. He's on a historically good month. I'm not in any kind of rush to see it come to an end. I mean, I want a battle. That's what I want, and it looks like we've got
it. They got done at perfect time. It's starting to rain even harder.
And we're taking a look at highest rated seasons and seeing what Paul McBeth has set throughout some of these past 10 or 11 years, and now looking at Gannon Burr.
And impressive 59 rounds. That absolutely shatters 2017 when he only had 19 rounds. I mean, that's even more impressive than anything. Almost 60 rounds. And really think about it. You got another, what, 8 plus 3? I mean, you got 11 more rounds to go for him, at least.
Yeah.
If you add in all the tournaments we have left.
Except for the USDGC won't count toward it. But that's another story for another day.
That's not my department, Terry.
Yeah. Nonetheless, certainly impressive what we've seen. Also, I just pointing out in Paul McBeth and how he closed out, he had 3 bogeys out there today. The other 3 that are on his card tomorrow along with him had 4 combined. So just a much cleaner round by the other guys. But Paul McBeth right there in a tie, and like you guys said, a star-studded cast tomorrow. I'm already excited for it. What's an initial takeaway for you, though, today, Sexton?
They persevered through the weather. I think the guys we expected to play well, by and large, did. And couldn't really be much more excited for tomorrow. Rick and Paul and Gannon Burr, that's going to be incredible.
Yeah, and then I'll just add in Ezra as well.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Super bright part of the day. In fact, for the first hour, it looked like he was playing the best, along with James Proctor. Proctor fell off. Ezra stuck in there with 1 bogey. Big shout out to Robinson.
Yes, looking forward to it. When we come back from the break, we're going to have our OTB shot of the day. We'll also break everything else down in Tournament Central. We'll see you there.